Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another tutorial. So today's tutorial is kind of two different ones combined into one. Today we're going to be covering how to update an FBX on your avatar. If you're new to avatar creation, what that basically is the actual Blender model that you took out of Blender that has all your stuff on it for your avatar, and you put it into Unity to get to work on it. That is your FBX. So that's the first half of the tutorial today. The second half is going to be how to merge and combine FX layers. So the FX layers are basically what you put all of your toggles, your parameters, your menu, things like that on to actually let different things swap out and work. The reason why I'm kind of combining these into these two different tutorials kind of into one instead of making them separate is I feel like they kind of go hand in hand depending on what you're trying to do and depending on what you're trying to update. If you're wanting to like swap out your FBX because you wanted to change out a shirt, or you had to go back into Blender to do some clipping and you're left feeling like you have to redo all of your toggles, you don't. And there's a really great tool that we're going to cover and talk about today to help with that. But also if you're wanting to, let's say like you already have your avatar done in Unity, but you're wanting to add something on like a spring joint, maybe a follower system, certain add-ons that we can get from different creators require you to merge FX layers, meaning they already have everything set up for you. And instead of having you set it up on your own, which can get really, really complicated, they have it all done for you and you just need to add that onto your existing FX layer. So I feel like they kind of go hand in hand, so I'm going to do it as like a two-part tutorial today. But the first part we're going to cover is swapping out the new FBX. So you have your avatar done in Unity, but you had to go back into Blender for some reason to change something out or to update something. And now you need to switch out the old model with the new one, but you don't want to redo all your toggles. That's what we're going to cover for the first half. And this request was brought to us by Nikki the Awesome here on YouTube. Thank you so much for the request. Moving forward, whether it's from YouTube, my server, Twitch, wherever, if you guys ask for a specific tutorial, I will do my best to take a little screenshot and toss it up here so that the person that requested the tutorial kind of has the credit here on the video for requesting it. So thanks so much again for this tutorial request. I hope this helps, and let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so for both parts of this tutorial, I'm going to be using my avatar that I have in the works right now named Alex. So I don't really technically have anything like different on the FBXs, like I don't have like different shirt, but that's okay. That's kind of the whole point is like, I needed to go back into Blender to fix her shirt clipping, right? Or maybe one of the bones wasn't parented properly. So if I had to go back into Blender for any reason, I already have her done. As you can see here, I have her done on this number 2, Dancer Street Abby FBX is just what I had it named, and there's her prefab. But I imported this new one. Let's say this is the one that I made some changes on, and I want to switch everything over from what I've already done onto this new one so I don't have to redo all of her toggles. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to import your new FBX. You're going to have to go ahead and change it back to humanoid, just like always. I didn't want to do this off camera. It might take a minute for everything to update, which I deeply apologize. My computer runs really slow. But I wanted to do this just because I didn't want to just like say, oh, don't forget to change it. I wanted to go ahead and show you guys just in case anybody is new to putting in FBXs into Unity, then they knew where to go. So you just click on it, come up here to the rig, change that animation type to humanoid, and you hit apply, and now we wait. I apologize for the waiting. I've said it before, but I'm not really the best at editing big videos, and here on YouTube it's supposed to like let me like cut and like timestamp things, but something really weird's going on with like the email that I have logged in. I guess like isn't the one on the channel, but they are. I don't know. From what I can see, everything's lined up, but it won't let me edit, so I apologize for the waiting. Anywho, once you change it to humanoid, I'm going to go to configure, we're going to hit save. And this part is important to do first. I covered this in the how to make an avatar series, but I feel like before you start, switching over like toggles or anything like that, you want to go ahead and do all of this, because I feel like if you mess with too much in Unity without setting up your rig properly, things just seem like they break a lot faster. So toes to the right foot and toes on the left foot. So all we're doing is I brought in the chest bone, toe bones, and of course go to head and remove that jawbone or your biseams will not work. So just a quick little refresher on making sure your rig is properly set up. This is how it should look. That's another time that sometimes you might have to go into Blender. If you're working on your rig and you see like a giant bone, maybe like from the hips or the shoulders coming all the way down to the middle point, you'll want to go back into Blender to fix that. It's a common thing that I run into pretty often. Sometimes in Blender that's not like necessarily like an extra bone per se, but you'll see like a little like dotted line that goes down between their feet. That just means that something is parented or not parented properly. So I don't really have anything like in Blender. I don't have like actual armature. But while we're waiting for this, if you ever see that on this screen, go into Blender, make sure all of your meshes are shown. So make sure nothing is hidden. You'll do A to select all and then Control A, and you'll hit clear all transforms, and that will fix it for you. So anyways, once you get your rig set back up on your new FBX, we can go ahead and move everything over. So now that it's actually set up to be a proper humanoid, I'm going to drag it in. Just going to scooch the old one over. And the reason I'm going to leave on her follower for a very specific reason, just so that we can I can show you guys, because it's going to move over like all of her toggles, and it's going to set all of her clothing to match what I have the default set as. So what I have shown versus hidden, it's going to update that. But the important thing is it's not going to assign my materials, and anything I added after the fact, like her follower, is something I added in Unity and not in Blender, because of the way that it's set up. It won't move that over either. So I'm gonna walk you guys through all that. So first, before we get started, Pumpkins, this one. So I'm going to be using a tool, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. I cannot say that enough. It's called Pumkins Avatar Tools. You can just Google search it. It's going to pop up on a GitHub website. This is their little like preview video, obviously much, much older Unity, but they do have it updated all the way to Creator Companion. So it's kept up to date, even though the screenshots might look old. But yeah, so this is what the page looks like. You're going to want to come here and you're going to want to download this. It is completely free. I believe they have a Discord server somewhere that you can join if you run into any questions or issues. But like I said, completely free, and it is the fastest way, in my opinion, to update stuff to your FBX. Some creators don't really like using it. They say that they've run into problems. I think stuff like tools like this is kind of to each their own. I never really have any issues with it, though sometimes it might mess things up. Like sometimes you might transfer stuff over and then things suddenly break when they weren't breaking before on your other FBX. So you just, at that point, I recommend starting up a new Unity project or uninstalling Pumpkins from your current project and reinstalling it. But I think in like the 2 years I've been using it, I've only run into issues like twice. So go ahead and install your Pumpkins into your file thing here and into your Unity project. It's going to show up here at Tools. It's going to say Tools, Pumpkin, Avatar Tools. So this is where we're going to go. So it might look like a lot. This is what it's going to show as like the default. The avatar here at the very tippy top is going to be the one that you want to update. So this is going to be your new one. Obviously with Pumpkins, and I highly recommend joining the server if you want to learn more about it, you can adjust the biseams, you can work on blend shapes, eye bones, all this different stuff. Stuff like this is pretty helpful for a lot of things that I feel like people ask questions about in like my server. Like recently somebody asked about like, oh hey, like how do I fix this blend shape? You could probably do it through Pumpkins. I haven't personally messed with any of this, so I keep that minimized. And physbones, obviously dynamic bones are not a thing. So I kind of keep all that minimized. I don't mess with it, but if you want to look into it, because it would be super duper helpful and probably make life a bit faster, I recommend it. And just reach out to them if you have any questions. So we're going to focus on the spot underneath tools. It says copy components. Copy from is going to be the avatar that you previously had all of your toggles on, right? So the top one is the new one. Copy from is the old one. I leave everything check marked because I know what's on the avatar. If you're not too sure what's on there and you're trying to like optimize it, so you might have bought an avatar that has like particle systems or DPS or whatever, and you're trying to work on making an optimized version, you might want to go ahead and uncheck mark like the audio sources or the lights, particle systems. So you can uncheck mark these. It's obviously just saying that like it's not going to transfer those over. I know that I don't have any of that on this avatar right now, so I'm just leaving everything checked marked. For sure, you do want to leave on the avatar descriptor so that you don't have to mess with the visemes or the placement of the descriptor. Obviously, leave on prefabs, physbones, skin mesh renders, these top ones for sure. And then the rest of that, obviously, you can kind of go from there. I would still leave on animators and transforms as well if you are unselecting anything. But if you want to be safe, just leave everything checked marked. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, down here. You can hit an ignore list, and you can obviously tell it like certain like meshes and things that you want to ignore, but we're not doing that. We want everything to transfer over. So once you get your settings however you want it to be, you're going to hit copy selected. Boop. And ta-da! There we go. Now it has set her exactly how she was. It actually did keep the follower, which is pretty impressive. So sometimes it doesn't. So here's my follower on my original. It's right here. This is something I added in Unity. Sometimes it won't copy over. So if that happens, just take it. Unpack your prefab first. Be smarter than me. Unpack your old prefab, your old avatar. Just take it and drag it out. And then you could drag it onto the new one. Okay, so that's something that you can do if it doesn't copy over, but it did today, so that's good. So yeah, obviously it kept the follower. It set all the presets how we want it to be. If we click on it, you can see we have our menus are on the new one. Let's just hide her just to be safe. You can see the parameters are all copied over, and the FX is all copied over with all of our facial expressions and all of our toggles. So everything is here. If you want to double check it, I keep gizmos turned off so I don't have to deal with seeing it. But as you can see, on the new FBX, it kept all of our physbones and our colliders. So she is literally perfectly copied over. The only thing that it did not copy over is the materials. So you'll just have to manually go back through and assign all of the materials, which, you can just drag on, or you can just click and start assigning. Unfortunately, I don't know of a way to make it auto-assign and auto-transfer materials. So I do have to manually redo those with Pumkins, but it keeps everything else, and especially the physbones, which take forever to set up in my opinion. And of course, if you want to just double check it before you put your new FBX into VRCHAT, I recommend another tool called AV3 Emulator, which is right here, Avatars 3.0 Emulator. You just go into play mode. I'm not going to do it right now because my Unity is running so slow today. Just run into play mode, you hit enable, and it will pull up your menus with all of your toggles so you can test all of that within Unity. And same thing, just go to Google, Avatars 3.0 Emulator, and it's going to show up Luma, like this, Lyuma, and you get it off of GitHub. And this is what that looks like. So if you want to double check and make sure everything transferred from the old FBX to the new one, those are the two tools that I recommend using, both completely free, and it will transfer everything over for you. You can obviously click and double check. We have our visemes right here, our descriptors set how we want it, so it transferred everything over. The only thing it did not transfer over was the materials. So I hope that helps answer your question for the person that had requested this tutorial. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I'll try to answer in the comments. If it gets too much or we need to share screenshots, just reach out to me in my Discord server and shoot me the screenshots there, and I'll help from there as much as I can. I hope that helps explain. So if you ever, are working on your avatar and you want to switch something out, fix clipping, fix some bones, whatever the issue is, and you need to go back into Blender, It's honestly not a big deal anymore. Massive thank you to Pumkins for making that tool. And it can just transfer everything over for you, and you don't have to spend hours redoing it. So that's the first half of the tutorial. I'm going to kind of end that part there because there's not really much more to say on that. I do want to, I'm just going to delete this because I don't really need it. I do want to also talk about how to merge FX layers. So this is if, like I said, if you have like a specific spring joint, or I know some followers might have it, there's different like particle systems, or just really all kinds of different scripts that you can get for your avatar that are added in Unity. And like I said earlier, they will come with their own FX. So let me think. We'll just do this. We're going to create a new one real quick. Test. Okay. We're going to come in here. We're going to be like test layer. And a blend tree. All right, something just kind of like rough example it, right? So if you are trying to add something new to your avatar, and instead of trying to merge FBXs, you need to merge FX layers, then this is what I recommend. This is a tool called VRLabs. This is also on GitHub, but if you come into your SDK, they actually have imported it as well as the emulator, wherever it is, somewhere 3.0 manager. So you'll just hit the plus button within your project and update your project that way. And it will import, and it's going to show up as VRLabs. So like I said, I want to share this because instead of having to like manually try to recreate the layers or recreate the parameters that came with that new thing you're trying to add, it's going to combine them. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to click here, VRLabs 3.0 Manager. This is what it shows up as. Of course, go ahead and drop in your avatar. You can mess with the right defaults and kind of mess with all your parameters here. I don't really mess with this too much. Most of the assets that ask you to do this are going to have a little walkthrough, and they'll say, hey, use the AV3 manager to do this. It'll also copy over parameters. So if you for some reason have two different types of parameter menus that you want to combine, you can do that through the right default, or through this one. And then here's your right defaults. So you can mess with both of those, the parameters and the right defaults over here. But for this tutorial, we're just going to focus on the top one, which is the symbol for the FX layers. So we are going to, where is it? Is it this one? No, that's parameters. Why isn't it? Okay. It looks a little bit different. Oh, there it is. I was like, why is that showing up so different? I'm so sorry. It's morning for me. So FX, come down here to FX. That is my FX layer. So whenever I created it, I titled it FX. Here's all of my stuff on it with my parameters if things are synced, which they are. So you're going to come down here to add animator to merge. We're going to grab our new one, our new FX layer. We're going to throw that in, which is called test. And then there's these different options: merge on new, cancel, or merge on current. If you hit merge on new, it's going to create a copy of your original FX layer and merge on there, which is what I recommend doing just in case something breaks, because Unity is so finicky, and since it is a program, it varies per user. It's not universal. So it might, work flawlessly for me every single time, but you might run into issues whenever you try to use it. So I recommend doing merge on new. That way you can keep your original FX layer. You have that new copied one, which is going to have your original stuff plus the new stuff. So then that way, if something breaks, you still have your original one. If you're not too worried about it and you don't want to mess with the copy, you can just hit merge on current. We're going to go ahead and do merge on new. It's going to sit here and spin for a second. And ta-da. It made a new one, which I think is this one. No. I don't know where it put it. Okay, So now I have duplicates. And this is my original one, so it does not rename it, so just be aware of that. So let's go ahead and new FX. I'm going to go ahead and rename that. So if we come on here, drag that in, there it is. As you can see down here is the test layer with the empty blend tree that we added. So simple as that, you know, you just pop it in, throw in your stuff, come down to FX, and add animated merge. That's how you merge FX layers. Nice and easy. So if you ever need to work on, you know, some updates to the FX, or you're trying to add something that requires that, or if you need to switch out your FBX, which is the actual base model for your avatar, then those are all the different tools I recommend. Emulator helps you test in Unity. Pumkins lets you merge stuff from one FBX to the next FBX. VRLabs and the AV3.0 manager helps you merge FX layers for all of your toggles. So I hope that helped kind of cover everything that you might need for if you're trying to do some updates to all the work that you've done on your avatar without having to start over. I hope that helps explain everything. Like I always say, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I'll try my best to answer there if you feel more comfortable, or if you need to send screenshots, or if I need screenshots, we will head over to my Discord server. That is the best way to contact me, because I'm horrible at checking DMs. And yeah, we can chat there and try to help you out as much as I can. If you have a request that you would like to ask for a specific tutorial, also let me know down in the comments or in my server, wherever, and I will do my best to make that tutorial for you guys. Other than that, don't forget, I stream once a week on Twitch of me making assets and hanging out with you guys. So if you would like to see how I make stuff, or if you'd like to ask questions, kind of like in a real-time setting, feel free to come join me on Twitch or follow me over there to get notified when I go live. And on the weeks that I don't have tutorials, I will be posting the past Twitch streams on YouTube. So then that way those are available as well. So I think that is it for this video. I hope you have a great day. I hope this helped, and I will see you guys next time.